And even if they can beat Liverpool emotionally from getting United fans on side for that, yeah, it's going to make it very difficult. But I still think there should be, and I'm sure United are speaking to obviously prospects out there, potential other managers, but at the moment he is in the driving seat and I can certainly see him getting the job. But then the real test would start in the summer regarding recruitment and competing in terms of games where there's jeopardy. I think the games, the last month or two, I think it's almost been easy for him. I really do. I think he's just focusing on winning football matches, whereas the challenge will come if he gets the job. Going back to recruitment, managing the club, the tougher games. He'd be proper judged next year if he is the permanent manager of United.
Is that something that Sir Jim Ratcliffe, Gary, I'm not sure how involved he would be in that decision-making process, and all those other key decision-makers have to be really wary of, that Michael Carrick hasn't had European football, for example, to contend with. There's been no challenges yet around recruitment.
I think that's the sort of questions that they'll be asking. I mean, it was interesting actually in his press conference on Friday. He was asked about whether he was part of recruitment meetings and planning for next season, and Michael Carrick said yes, he was. Now, that's good that he answered honestly. I thought he might sort of sit on the fence on that one, but I'd actually been a little bit worried if he wasn't. Obviously, he's seeing the players every single day. He's trusted by the club, and it will be getting to a point whereby there's been so much unrest at Manchester United off the pitch in the last 12 to 18 months. I think 400 members of staff have obviously left. So there's a massive amount of turbulence. And what Michael's probably doing right now, not along with just winning football matches, which is critical, he's probably settling the actual club down off the pitch as well, which I think will be important. If you're an owner of a football club and the rest of the staff in the club trust the manager, they like the manager, they feel like there's a good way about him, I think that will count as well as they move towards the end of the season. Look, I think it's getting to a point where it's pretty inevitable they're going to appoint Michael Carrick. I just hang out and hold out the fact that if a Luis Enrique or someone of that ilk was to become available, that Manchester United will go and make that sort of decision and bring them in, because world-class managers who've been there before, Manchester United need to get back to winning titles and Champions Leagues, and managers who've done that before have obviously got a better chance.
Just stay with this guy for a few more minutes, if you would. Jamie, what's your perspective on this? Do you think it could look quite different next season in terms of the volume of matches and the challenges facing whoever's in charge?
Yeah, I think so. I think it'd be a lot tougher, obviously. I remember being in this situation myself, not in terms of a manager, but in terms of a season. I think it was Gerard Houllier's first full season. We didn't have European football, and we were on the cups really early. And with about 4 or 5 games of the season to go, we probably should have finished second. We fell off at the end. We lost away at Bradford. We didn't actually make the Champions League. It was actually a good thing. We won the UEFA Cup the next season. But the point I was trying to make is, sometimes you can get lulled into thinking you're a lot better than what you are. Manchester United, for me, are not the 3rd best team in the league. As I said, they're not playing too many games, they're not playing twice a week, they haven't got European football. So the situations that we look at teams right now, Liverpool in the Champions League, Chelsea still going far, both Chelsea still in the FA Cup, all these things will come into play next season, because Manchester United should go far in domestic cup competitions. They'll be in the Champions League, they'll have 8 games at least, probably 10 or 12 in the Champions League as well. So it's a completely different proposition.
Just quickly on that, Gary, do you think Manchester United are in a false position?
Look, they've been helped enormously by the, I don't know what you'd call it, incompetence of the other teams in the last sort of 2 or 3 months. I mean, look, Michael Carrick's got a great amount of points. He's done a brilliant job, but the others falling away in the way in which they have. Obviously, Villa dropped a lot of points. Chelsea and Liverpool have dropped an enormous amount of points from where they were. So, yeah, he's been helped by the other clubs. That's a big factor. I think tonight's a big test because, to be fair, we're hearing that Kobbie Mainoo's not playing tonight. I don't think Mbeumo's playing. He's on the bench. Ugarte comes in. So there are things that tonight that will make this game a little bit more difficult, maybe.
You know more than we do. Yeah, team news is breaking very soon. Gary, you've got another job to do tonight because you're getting involved in helping us select the greatest Premier League central midfielders of all time. And I believe you're going to give us your top 5 as well later, and all will be revealed about 10:30.
We don't want them now.
Carrick has got Gerrard #1, obviously, hasn't he?
He's me full top 10.
I'm guessing you haven't. All will be revealed later. Gary, thank you very much for the moment. That's coming your way later, 10:30. And a little...
Timber.
I was just about to say it to him.
So was I. Matt Sweefer in the Finalysis Team of the Week with 92, but he's not the top scoring pick. That is Mavropanos with 94 with his 2 goals for West Ham United against Wolves. That's the Finalysis Team of the Week. We need to have another look at this Premier League table in this race for Europe, Roy, because we were making the case earlier where we're talking about Manchester United in terms of the Champions League. So we know that's the top 5 dealt with. There is a possibility that it goes down to 6, because if Aston Villa were to finish in 5th place and win the Europa League, for which they are favourites, then 6th would be playing Champions League football next season. So suddenly, all these other teams have got a sniff, haven't they?
Amazing. What an incentive for lots of these teams. Sunderland, Brighton, obviously Everton, Brentford, all having very good seasons. But dangling that car for these clubs to be in the Champions League, wow.
What difference would it make for a team like a Sunderland or a Bournemouth?
It'd be huge for the profile of the club. Obviously, the financial rewards. It's just, imagine Everton going in on the back of going into a new stadium. Brentford are having a brilliant season. Bright. It'd be fantastic for one of these clubs getting the Champions League. It'd be amazing.
Who do you think's got momentum then? We saw Brighton on that form table.
Yeah, David Moyes is obviously... David Moyes, Everton's done a brilliant job, of course, always does. Yeah. Would it be great to see Everton? Would you like to see that, Jamie?
Listen, yeah. I've got to go back there tomorrow, so yeah.
How do you see it, Jamie?
Listen, we've had 6 in this season in the Champions League in almost like a different way, because obviously Tottenham finished lower down the table, won that trophy. I actually think there's a real opportunity of this, because I think with Aston Villa, if they can cement themselves where they almost know they're in the top 5, if they're in a European final, the last couple of games of the season, whether people like it or not, they've got to concentrate on winning a trophy. Think how long that club's gone without winning a trophy. So if they make sure they're in the top 5, the last 2 or 3 games, as I said, they might be resting players or have the focus on a European.
And of course, they've got Liverpool and Manchester City in their last 2 games as well.
Well, they're going to be huge games for both those teams, especially Manchester City. You know, the title could be up for grabs on that last day. But I think there's a real chance that Aston Villa finish 5th and... as I said, win that European trophy. And then, as I said, it opens up. And you look at Chelsea right now, they've got it all on to be in there anyway. But if they actually get picked off by teams down here and don't actually be in the 6th position, I mean, that'd be a disaster for the club.
Yeah, it's an exciting little side story, isn't it? And as Roy said, a huge carrot dangled for all those teams who might have the incentive of playing Champions League football next season. Of course, Spurs have been doing it as possible 24. There is a real battle on here now for Roberto De Zerbi, who lost Kudus in the build-up to the game. He has now lost Christian Romero for the rest of the season. So can you, Jamie, find some slivers of positivity for Spurs fans watching on?
It's difficult when you look at that, and it's a new manager coming in. I said this yesterday. We're going to look at a couple of little things he did, but it's almost not really about that in some ways. There's how many games to go now? 6 or 7 games to go. It's like, it has to happen right now. And some of the scenes I've seen at the end I didn't like. People sat down on the pitch almost feeling sorry for themselves, as if, oh, everything's against us, you know, the lucky goal. No, not everything's against you. Look at that. It's your fault. It's down to you. You know, the results are on the players. And they mentioned they were unlucky.